All right, so I'm back. Apparently, I only have a 10-minute limit per recording segment here. So I'm going to kind of jump in and talk about our team. This is kind of the active day-to-day individuals for our team. So, of course, you have myself as the executive director, really managing director. And then you have Javon, who's the brains behind everything. She does the director of operations, very much day-to-day operations involving scheduling and accounting. We have Joseph Vallejo here, who is in charge of technology. So when we talk about things with the website and promoting and marketing, he really has a good insight on the best practices are. And he also is very great at helping us develop those things. And a brilliant artist as well. So if you've seen our logo, he's actually the one who drew that for us. And we have Diana Yin, who is our administrative and assistant, and she will be joining on as our scheduler because as we grow, as you can imagine, since we are trying to keep strong relationships with the organizations we work with, a lot of communicating will go into on top of scheduling with those groups. So Javon and Diana will be working together for that. And then my cousin, Larry Hancock, will be our director of finance. Since he runs his own company, he won't be as active as the rest of us are on a day-to-day basis, but he will be a chairman for finance. So when we have a committee put together for working on accounting and taxes and all that, he'll be the chair of that and he'll be involved in overlooking our books. Okay. All right, so our nonprofit structure, this to me is one of the most important things for us to be jumping in as a nonprofit. So we have myself as a managing director at the top, but I'm going to be heavily reporting to the advisory board. This will be our group of people, which I'll jump into that in a second, but these will be the group of people who are experts in different areas of field. So they'll be experts in finance and operations and relationships, business development, et cetera. And they will be advising me on how to run the business. All right, so we have our director of finance, director of operations, director of programs, director of relations, scheduling, and we'll also have a volunteer coordinator who will be in charge of finding new volunteers. They will be communicating with organizations like Hands On RVA. I believe that's a nonprofit called for finding more volunteers and finding reliable volunteers at that. We'll also be having a director of marketing and, of course, the director of technology. So all of us will be working together to kind of keep Legacy Chess Academy growing further and being consistent with what business we have today. So important committees will be the program committee will be focused on very much what we do currently and how to develop and keep things strong and develop and improve the quality of what we have now. Of course, as I mentioned before, we'll have the Committee of Finance, which will be very important because it's heavily audited with when you're doing a 501c3 and accepting grants, especially from the government. So they're going to want to notice, they want to see everything we're doing and where the money is going. And it's really important that this is really well structured. And then for the director of relations, they'll be focused on the extended relations and outreach. So that's kind of future relationships that we'll be having. So they'll be communicating with the programming committee over here about what's going on currently, but they'll also be heavily focused on what's going to be happening in the future as we kind of expand into different counties and maybe even different states and see where we go from there. All right, so like I said, I'm going to jump into the advisory board. And these people will be focused on making sure we do everything we're supposed to do as Legacy Chess Academy. Everything we say we're going to do, this advisory board is kind of checking in on us and making sure we're doing all of that. So we have someone who might necessarily be writing grants, but is an expert in grant writing and kind of knows to maybe be able to like check on to see if there's new grants available or something we haven't checked in already and let us know to jump into that. Somebody who's interested in or understands, expert in tax and finance that can work with Larry and help him with that. Somebody in programming, marketing, especially branding. We want to improve our brand and make sure the look and feel travels with us in everything we do, from the website to walking in the door in the future Legacy Chess Academy facility. And especially also strategy, which is incredibly important. Technology, because there's always new technology every day. There may be even stuff that we're using now that we're not using to the full capacity that we're able to. So kind of keeping up to date with that and sharing new information with us is extremely critical to me. And then also business development and customer management. I'm definitely focusing on customer management because, like I said, relationships is everything to us, and we want to make sure we are clear, that we have all the policies in place, that everyone understands what we expect as as a corporation and the kind of people that we're working with. All right. So let's see, to our services. All right, so we are a service and relationships-based business. I can't say that enough. We are able to order chess products upon request, but it's not really what drives our business. So, I mean, if someone says they want a chess set and we're able to order that, and we probably can get it cheaper for them than they would on their own, partially because we probably would be interested in buying in bulk for other classes, and also because being a business, we get discounts on the products working with wholesale.chess.com. All right. So real quickly, we just kind of give an idea of what classes are for us. Typically, they are 8 to 10-week sessions. If we usually follow the Chess Kid curriculum. You can always check out chesskid.com if you are curious about what that looks like. We bring in a trained instructor with background checks and experience with children. I'm more interested in bringing in people that are interested in working with children than people who are experts in chess. Because like I said, we're more interested in the mentorship aspect and kind of development for the kids, improving life skills and all those things. We can always teach them the chess piece. That can be part of the training. If that's something that they need, they can work with us personally, or I can make videos to help them understand and prepare for the courses that they are teaching. And also with the classes, every student that works with us will be part of a legacy chess network. So every legacy class is a connection with other legacy groups to connect, participate in events, and compete. So basically that means that if we have a tournament or if we do any online club work, they could all be connected, be communicating with each other, playing against each other or working off each other to develop. There's this thing called chess notation that students use to record their moves, and they can always go over games with one another if the instructor's not around. All right, so legacy chess camps. Here's our little flyer for that. They typically last 5 to 6 days. They're typically all day. They have the choice of doing a half day or all day, and the prices, of course, range differently for that. We at least have one instructor for every 12 students. The camps are usually accelerated learning, but there are plenty of activities that they can participate in. And depending on the location, approximately there are $450 per student for a full day and $240 for a half a day. And we'll be actively looking as part of our grant funding just to be able to pay for some of these or the majority of it so that we can have scholarships for students that might not be able to normally afford it, and then they can participate in the camps anyway. And then tournaments, which are typically one day. They can be rated or unrated. By rated, I mean there's the U.S. Chess Federation, which gives you points based on your wins, and it takes away points for your losses, and it kind of shows your standing of your skill level against the rest of the world, really. So we offer these tournaments occasionally. Right now, we probably do 2 a year, but we would like to see ourselves doing more of that. That typically requires having a skilled tournament director that can be local and work with us consistently. I have been our chief tournament director for a while, but as you can imagine, I don't really have the time to always spend a full day organizing and operating a tournament. I would rather be running around putting out fires if need be. So kids can also win trophies and prizes. When we have adult tournaments, they're usually cash prizes is what's preferred. We'll also be having team and individual matches. So we'll have typically teams of 4. The top best players in each school can go out and play against the top 4 best players in another school, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, so private lessons. So this is something we offer. We don't push too often unless the students are extremely interested in taking themselves to the next level and they want to participate in tournaments outside of what we're offering. So it was meetings are as needed. So if you have a student that can only work every 2 weeks on a Saturday morning, either myself, Javon, or we'll find another instructor to pair them with where they kind of meet on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. As I mentioned, the purpose is really to take them to the next level, offering a more in-depth explanation that you can't really get in the classroom working with 15 students at a time. And of course, in this case, locations are flexible. Oh, is my time running out? Okay, so I'm gonna wrap that up for this section. Okay, all right.